right, what's going on, y'all? Y'all let me know if the audio. Let me know if the audio is good, if you can hear me or not, before we get started. Let me know if the audio is good. All right, I see that it's working. All right, bet. Okay, so this week we got the Sunday watch list for this week. We actually got some really good stops to watch. There's a common theme that you're going to notice. So I've been doing a lot of studying this weekend on the charts, and there's a very common theme that you will notice. And one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to all happen the same way, in my opinion, or it's all going to happen the same way, another way that we're going to talk about, okay? Now, when you're analyzing stocks for the week, my goal is to get a direction that I think it's going to go, and then I want to find stocks that I also believe is going to go in that same direction. Okay, so find a overall direction, number one, and we're going to talk about how do you do that, and we're going to also talk about finding the stocks that also go with that direction. Okay, so I always like to start off by looking at SPY and QQQ. I always look at those first, okay? Because when people say the market, quote unquote, a lot of times they're talking about SPY and QQQ. All right. Now, when you take a look at SPY here, I like to analyze it on the daily chart because the daily gives you a large view of what's been going on, right? So I zoomed out here and I can see what's been going on SPY since 2020, right? And it's 2025. So I have a 5-year view of what's been going on SPY. And this is going to be important in just a second here. All right. So when I take a look at SPY on the daily, I know I have a lot of data, and I can see that since 2023, we've been in a uptrend. Okay, so take a look here, 2023 uptrend, all the way up to now, 2025. Okay, now one thing that SPY has. Before we say that, we'll look at QQQ. All right, SPY is in an uptrend. Let's look at QQQ as well. Before I even say that, same thing from QQQ. QQQ in a uptrend since 2023. All right, we've been in a constant uptrend for the past couple years. All right, so when I take a look at SPY, I know that I'm looking for something that could possibly be bullish. All right. Now, we know that the past month or so has been very hard to trade. In the past week to a week and a half, SPY has kind of been bleeding, right? So a lot of people have been complaining. Market has been dropping. The stocks have been dropping. And there are some stocks that have been beat up a lot more than others. But all stocks have taken some type of dip. Okay. Now, the name of the game in the stock market is to buy low, sell high. But what you will notice is a lot of times when things get low, people get scared. All right. And the stock market is a lot like life in a sense of a lot of times if you do the opposite of what most people do, you will be ahead. All right. Now, the name of the game is to buy low, sell high, but you have to know how to buy low and how to sell high. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a strategy this Sunday right here. I'm going to teach you a strategy that allows you to buy low. Okay, so that strategy is a very simple strategy. I teach the most basic trading concepts and strategies known to man. I use the most basic principles. I use chart patterns, trend lines, candlesticks, things of that nature. Okay, so the setup that I'm going to teach you guys today is called the 3-touch rule. Now, understand that trading, especially with technical analysis, the way I do it is all about probability. Probability needs to be put in your side, right? So you need setups that tell you that this stock is more than likely to do one thing than another. That's what my setups do. All right. So this setup uses trend lines and candlesticks, and it's called the 3-touch rule. All right. So the basis of this chart pattern is when a stock touches the trend line for the third time, you expect it to continue in the direction from which it came. I'll say that again. When a stock touches the trend line for the third time, you usually expect it to continue in the direction from which it came. If we take a look at SPY here, SPY, S&P 500, a lot of times they say the market, they're talking about SPY. Look at this first touch here in 2023. Second touch here in 2024. Third touch, 2025. Last time we touched, what did we do? This first touch, what did we do? Now, am I saying that we're going to do this again? I am not all the way 1,000% sure, but the probability says that we can possibly go higher. All right? The probability says that we can continue to go higher. Now, what makes me think that this could be ready to go higher? Well, just because it gets to a certain point doesn't mean that you need to buy a stock. You need to understand what the candle tells you. And if you don't understand candlesticks, a basic rule that you can think of is, where are the wicks? Okay, so when you have long bottom wicks, that usually indicates that there is buying pressure on the stock. For instance, this candle right here tells you that at SPY opened right here at 585. This is on Friday. SPY opened at 585. It came all the way down to 582, and it closed at 594. That means at one point in time, SPY had to travel up $12 to close at 594. That is a lot of buying pressure, but this is where the probability kicks in. You have this buying pressure at the trend line on the third touch. Okay, so it is a setup in itself. Okay, now what you have to watch for is for SPY to reject again and come back down, because if it does break down, it will be breaking this trend line, and we could continue downward, possibly down to this 200 MA, down to 569, if we can break below 575. Okay, but I am more so leaning bullish simply because we are on the third touch of SPY. All right, so now I have my overall direction that I am more so leaning towards. So at this point, now you want to look for stocks that have similar setups or have bullish setups. Okay, so I have a couple that have some nice bullish setups that I really like. And number one for me would be Palantir. So me personally, I really like Palantir. And you'll notice Palantir looks the same as SPY in a sense. The uptrend for Palantir hasn't been as long. But if you take a look at Palantir, this first touch of this trend line is right here. Came down, second touch here. And on Friday, we have the third touch. Okay, so we have the third touch here on Friday. Okay, so Palantir does have a chance to continue upward, especially if we start to trend above. If we stay trending above 84.3-ish, right around here, and I could adjust that just a little bit maybe. I would say 84.5. If we start trending and stay above 84.5, I wouldn't be surprised to see PLTR trickle upward. Okay, so it's on the third touch of this trend line. All right, now something else that makes me like Palantir, and this is where probability really starts to get in your favor. If you look at Palantir on the 4-hour chart, this is a setup that I like to play a lot as well, called bullish divergence. That's when the stock price is making lower lows, but the RSI is making higher lows. Okay, so they are going the opposite direction. That is divergence. Okay, now how far could this possibly go? Well, there are a couple different ways. A lot of times when I'm looking at things like this, I like to target the high point from which it came, or I like to find the next level upward. Now, in this case, as far as the next high point would be around 93.5, close to there, right? But, once you start getting into the 90 plus, that's kind of where you might start seeing some selling pressure. So at this point right here, you got about $5 to $8 that you could possibly look to capitalize on if Palantir continues to push up. All right. So what are we doing here? We have two setups in one. This is how I like to start putting probability in my favor, because not only do we have the three touch rule from the daily chart, we also have bullish divergence from the 4 hour. So we have two things that is saying bullish, right? While SPY is also saying bullish, and this is in the same exact setup as SPY. So I am betting that if SPY gets bullish and remains bullish, Palantir could also remain bullish. Now, we do know that Palantir has sold off as well. Okay, so this drop on Palantir has happened just like it dropped the rest of the market. And let's see how far did this drop take it down, because it was a pretty significant drop from the highs, which the highs on Palantir was February the 19th. That is not very long ago. So from the highs, Palantir had fell at one point. It was down 37% from the highs, right? 37% from the highs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. It took 8 days to fall almost 40%. That is quite a bit. All right. So I would not be surprised to see some type of bounce. That doesn't mean that you got to ride it all the way back upward, because it could pop and come back down. But you possibly could catch you a nice move on Palantir to the upside, maybe even for a little relief bounce. All right. So let me know in the comments, does this make sense? Let me know in the comments, does Palantir make sense? Let me know, does Palantir make sense? Does this play make sense to you? All right. We're getting some yeses in here. Perfect. Okay. Now that's Palantir. I have another setup that has something very similar. Let's take a look at Datadog. Okay. So Datadog is a type of stock that falls into that same type of category. As CrowdStrike, Net, Zscaler, things like that. It's not on the third touch, but it is on a trend line that it has been on for a while. Okay, so Datadog right here, you see this is actually the 1, 2, 3, 4th touch of the trend right here. Okay, currently at the 4th touch, and the RSI is very low. All right, so when the RSI is below 30, you look for it to try to bounce. When it's above 70, you look for it to possibly try to come down a little bit. All right, so we're looking at Datadog here. It's on the trend line again. Now we have to find out, where does the move actually come? Okay, because it looks like it's consolidating a little bit, so it will need to break right here. But if we pay attention, notice that right here isn't just a level from where we are now. This was a level in the past. We on October of 2024, August of 2024, and it probably was one even before that. This has been a key level since 2023. I hope y'all are seeing this. This 118 level has been a level since 2023. Okay. Now, if Palantir, think about Palantir. If Datadog can get above 118, I'm looking to take calls on Datadog. I think that we could get a bounce on it because number one, it's touching the trend line again. Okay. Number two, it's near a key level that we've had in the past, and if it breaks it, we could see another pop. And number three, SPY is also having the same type of setup. Okay, so notice how I'm bullish on SPY, so I'm looking for stocks that are more so bullish. All right, so looking at it here, and let's take a look at the 4 hour. Let's see, does it have the bullish divergence or not? I'm not sure. Let's see. And what do you see here? Bullish divergence on the 4 hour. So we have SPY, we have Datadog, and we have Palantir setting up very similar. Okay, now always take a note that this is probability. So even if you have a 99% chance of being right, you still have a 1% chance of being wrong. Always understand that, which is why risk management is very important, right? So you don't go all in on a play just because I said that I like it. I lose trades sometimes too, okay? But the difference with me and you is going to be that I'm going to take these setups every time I see them because I know that they work, because I've taken thousands of these same trades, okay? Take a look at my Instagram. If you got my free Discord, I think I have multiple plays in there. I've been trading the same way for 5 years. All right, so I can tell you what works and what doesn't work. I promise you, if you keep using these strategies, you are going to make money. These patterns don't work every time, they work over time. If you take these patterns right here like 15 times, you're probably going to win 11 to 12 trades. I'm not going to lie. If you get your entry down, you're going to win 11 to 12 trades. And in a market like this, it's also important to not overstay your welcome. All right, you see profit, take profit, because you're one tweet away from everything going to you know what. All right, you're always one tweet away. Okay, now what could possibly be a target here? This one's going to be a little bit tougher. This is a little bit tougher because on the 4 hour, just here on the 4 hour, you could really run a little bit here just looking at this point. But when you kind of go back a little bit and if you use previous levels, you would possibly say that around 121, right? Around 121 could be a place where you kind of reject from. Okay, this is a previous support that it just knifed through. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it retest up here, which even at this point, 118 to 121, that's $3. Is that enough for you to make money on Datadog? Of course, it is enough money for you to make money on Datadog. So even with that $3 move, that is enough for you to make some money. Okay, this is probably not something that I would just be trying to get into a super long swing right now, just because I don't trust the market a whole lot right now. As far as holding options, I still think it's a day trading environment, but you know, some short-term swings, you know, could be pretty decent. So we'll see, but I do like Datadog above 118. I do like Datadog above 118 for sure. Those are the two that I really liked. Those are two stocks I'm gonna give you this week that you need to watch out for. Watch out for Datadog, watch out for Palantir, and watch out for SPY. And I also want you to see here that QQQ also is acting like it wants to possibly pop, you know, at least a little bit. All right, so for QQQ, this 500 is a place of interest, right? So it was a resistance here, was a support around here, support here, and looks like it may be a support again. So when we got down to QQQ here last time, when we finally broke out, when we retested, we pushed up. All right, so let's see if that happens again. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. All right, so those two stocks are ones that I absolutely love for this week. Make sure you join the free version of the Discord. I drop a lot of free gems in there, and I'm going to just quickly cycle through some stocks and see if I see anything else for you guys, just on my small list right here. But the two main plays that I really like this week for you guys, I really like Palantir. I really like Datadog. Let's see if we got anything else. Nvidia looks okay. Let's see, Boeing. We destroyed Tesla, man. Y'all let me know in the comments, did you guys make money on Tesla? We destroyed Tesla. That's crazy. I did lose one trade on Tesla because it had a BS pop on it, man, and it ended up going down still. But I had one loss on Tesla, but I traded them like 3 or 4 times the past couple weeks. Amazon. Google is one that's starting to look a little bit attractive to me long term, actually. Google has fallen quite a bit. Google owns YouTube. There are new kids trying to be YouTube millionaires every single day. So Google isn't going anywhere. Google isn't going anywhere. Meta, I would love to see Meta come down a little bit more, hopefully. Snow, Microsoft has been getting beat up. Delta Airlines, MU is in a huge range. Riot and Mara should be up tomorrow because of Bitcoin. And if you don't know what happened to Bitcoin, you missed the dip, right? So if you didn't buy anything on this big dip right here, you missed it. Okay? You just simply you missed it. All right? And what made this pop here, I think it's some conference or something that Trump is going to have. I don't like doing news a whole lot, but this was like pretty good news for crypto. It was something with Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, SOL. I think it might be some type of conference or something reserve. I don't know, something like that. It was something good though. All right, so that made crypto pop. You can also see XRP popped as well. I know a lot of you hold XRP. So you can see XRP pop too. So right back around $2.90 again. Crazy. So crypto is super volatile, man. It's super volatile. A play that I did like last week that I talked about that I still wanted to drop a little bit is Affirm, right? So I really like Affirm. Something about Affirm is intriguing me a lot this year. The financials look good that I've looked at, and if it comes down a little bit more, it will also be on the third touch. If it comes down a little bit more, it looks like it needs to come down to like 57, 58. But if it does get down there, it looks like it would be on the third touch. Now, notice that all of the plays that I'm kind of showing you right now are plays that can possibly bounce. One of the easiest ways to make money in the stock market is to buy the dip, right? So people always tell you to buy the dip, but they don't tell you how to do it. Okay, so with this Sunday watch list, I taught you guys how to buy the dip. Was a strategy that you can look for to buy the dip. There are a few more different strategies that you can look for to buy the dip, but I taught you 2. I gave you 2 strategies on how to buy the dip, right? So nobody else, it teaches you how to actually buy the dip, all right? And we didn't get into the financials and looking at the stuff like that, but that's not very hard either. But yeah, I gave you guys 2 strategies on how to buy the dip, all right? How to find the targets. And your homework today is going to be finding some stocks that are similar setups to this, right? So we have our thesis for SPY. I am more so bullish on SPY for a bounce. How much of a bounce can it do? I don't know. I don't know how much of a bounce it could do. But given the pattern, we can see a nice bounce on SPY, right? So your homework tonight is going to be looking for some plays that can also be bullish, that have a bullish type of setup, right? And something that I'll do here today, if you find some plays, send it to me on Instagram and I'll let you know what I think about it. If you find some plays that can be bullish, send me the setup. Don't just send a ticker, all right? Send me the actual chart of what it looks like, and I'll send you my thoughts on it. you could find something really good. I'm only one set of eyes, so I'm not gonna see everything. All right. So if you guys find a really good play, you can send it to me on Instagram, or if you're in the free version of the Discord, drop it inside of the what's it called? The potential setups tab. Right? Drop it in there so we can talk about it and everybody else can see, so everybody can make money. All right. But besides that, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. If you learned something, please shoot me a message on Instagram if this was helpful for you. Drop it in the comments, and I appreciate y'all. And let's make some money this week, man. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.